Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're jumping into a really quite convoluted scam. It's a property investment fraud case that's just come to light.
Yes, involving Ghazala Din from Birmingham. And what makes this particularly interesting are these recorded admissions that have surfaced. Very revealing.
Exactly. So, our mission today is to pull out the key nuggets here. We want to understand how these schemes actually work, the mechanics behind them.
And more importantly, what are the lessons? How can you, our listener, protect your trust, protect your investments from something like this?
Right. And it all starts with these big promises, doesn't it? Big payouts, supposedly due back in March.
Which just never appeared, vanished into thin air, essentially.
So let's break that down a bit. The initial red flags seem pretty stark in hindsight.
Mm-hmm.
Ghazala was claiming these, significant payouts promised for March were held up. The excuses, lockdowns, complications, things that sound plausible initially.
Plausible, perhaps. But then months passed. March came and went, then April, May. Still nothing.
And that persistence, that pattern of delay, coupled with, frankly, quite vague reasons, that has to be a warning sign, right?
Well, absolutely. It's critical. When you see repeated delays, especially without clear, verifiable explanations or a solid new timeline, alarm bells should be ringing.
Feels like stalling.
Often it is. It's a classic tactic. It buys the person time. Maybe they're trying to shuffle funds, find new money to pay off older investors, perhaps.
Like a Ponzi scheme structure?
Potentially. Or it simply gives them more time to cover their tracks or even disappear. And it wears down the investors, too. People get tired of chasing.
Okay, but then it gets really interesting. Because when she was finally pushed, Ghazala actually admitted, and I quote, everything got messed up.
Which is quite an admission.
It is. Now, she did say properties were bought with investor money. They physically existed. You could, point to them.
Right.
But she then said the management and execution went wrong somewhere along the way. It's both an admission and a deflection, isn't it?
It's very telling. This management went wrong line, even when there are physical assets, often points to something deeper. It usually masks a fundamental lack of proper financial controls.
How so? What does that typically look like?
Well, it likely means investor funds weren't kept separate. They probably weren't in protected accounts or tied directly to specific properties in a secure way for the investor.
So commingled funds, maybe, mixed with her own money or other projects.
Very possibly. Which makes it incredibly hard for you as the investor to track your specific investment or claim your returns. The assets might exist, sure, but the link between your money, that asset, and your promised return is broken.
Ah, okay. So the core deception isn't necessarily ghost assets, but rather that the returns from those real assets were never properly managed or secured for the investors.
Exactly. The money flow is the problem. It highlights how something can look legitimate on the surface, bricks and mortar, but still be fundamentally flawed or fraudulent underneath due to how the money's handled.
That really is a stark reminder for anyone listening. The risks hidden behind promises that just sound a bit too good, or explanations that are just too fuzzy. It means you have to dig deeper than just confirming an asset exists. You need to ask, okay, how exactly does my investment generate my return, and what's the clear, transparent path for that money to reach me?
And this really underscores the absolute vital importance of transparency, doesn't it? And accountability and just constant vigilance in any investment scenario.
It does.
Because these schemes, they do so much more damage than just financial loss. They shatter trust. They can devastate people's lives.
Absolutely. Learning from these situations, sharing these stories, it helps build our collective awareness. It helps shine a light on these hidden dangers, hopefully protecting more people.
Definitely. And it leads to a final thought, perhaps, for you to consider. Beyond just the financial promises, think about communication itself. What are those subtle cues, those small shifts in how someone communicates that might signal trust is eroding? Not just in investments, but in any interaction. How can you spot those signs early on, maybe before any serious commitment, financial or otherwise, is even made? Something to think about.